Hello world and welcome to the episode of the B Squad Backstage. Yes.
I know Keisha, you gonna have your side to say on this.
What? I got a book to say about this. And we are the B Squad. That's right. Great show for you today, so stay tuned.
This is Keisha Williams with the Bee's Nest. Be enriched, be educated, and be excellent.
What's up, everybody? This is your boy Keith Vance with some of that real spiel.
It's a crazy time right now, but we just want to bring some light to your day, all right? So we have a great show for you today, all right? I felt bad. Me and the other boy, we both 6'5" characters in there. Say B Squad.
B Squad.
Say it loud.
B Squad.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna take out. I was just starting moving now.
Usually I'll ask you to take off your shoes.
Gotcha.
And welcome to our space. It's an incubation space where any ideas that you have as a creative entrepreneur, to reimagine, to set up however you need. Maybe you have your rehearsal or your meeting in here, or so you're not confined to a proscenium stage or trying to make everything traditional. You have space where you can experiment. 2 bathrooms that are ADA compliant. You got fast Wi-Fi, free parking in the back and on the street.
High ceilings too.
High ceilings.
Yes.
We have projectors in here.
Oh, wow.
A lot of healing dance. We do a lot of creative technology work. So we can offer those packages to our clients.
Gotcha.
And then
Beautiful.
This space is $55 per hour. 10 people in the room. If you need more, we do 20 max people to studio color for the rest of the year.
Okay.
You need 2 spaces, that's $200 per hour. Again, another space where you can just reimagine. We've had so many art installations.
Hello world and welcome to the episode of the B Squad Backstage. This is our new podcast show that we're trying. This is behind the scenes footage, everything you don't see on What They Don't Tell You podcast. We are your hosts, DJ Mifflin.
Keisha Williams.
And Keith Vance.
And we are the B Squad. We have a great show for you today. We have some special guests. As you know, with B Squad Backstage, we'll be bringing you great interviews with amazing people in our community, all across the board in the industry. Right. Today, we are blessed to have 2 beautiful sisters joining us today. Miss T. Lang.
How you doing, T. Lang?
How you doing, Miss T. Lang?
I'm in this thing.
Hello, T. Lang. How you doing?
And Miss Oni Collier. Is that how you say your name?
Oni Collier. Yes.
Oni Collier. Okay.
Nice to meet you. Hello.
Yes. And I would like to first start off with Miss Oni Collier. You're a teen dancer,
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you give us a little bit about your history and what kind of dancing that you do?
Yeah, sure. I'm 16. I've been dancing since I was 3, so that's like 13 years. And what inspired me to dance was Black Girls in Dance, because I love seeing Black girls dancing. And I do everything. I do pointe, ballet, hip hop, jazz, tap, anything you think of. Like, I do it all.
Oh, wow. You can tap dance too?
Yes.
Oh, that's so awesome.
People think tap is a lost art. They're like, do people tap anymore? But
Right.
yes,
Yeah.
awesome.
I always loved Gregory Hines. Like, Gregory Hines was one of my favorite tap dancers. You know who that is.
I was gonna say, who are your
I was like,
inspirations?
she's so young, but she knows who Gregory Hines
I know
is.
a lot of different dancers.
Okay. Who would you say inspired
Her
you?
research.
Yeah. Who would you say inspired you to be a dancer?
I'm not like really sure who inspired me, but I think like I like Debbie Allen, like her dance. I really enjoy her.
Okay.
Watching her dance and everything.
Now, have you seen Fame? Because if you say Debbie
Right.
Allen, then
Yeah.
a lot of people are going to say,
Yeah.
do you know Fame?
Yes.
You gotta have you gotta dance. Yeah.
That's a classic
Stand
right
and
there.
all of that. Yeah.
So your homework is if you haven't seen Fame,
She was like,
you gotta watch it at least 3 times. 3 times. But yeah, you have seen it? Okay.
No.
No, you haven't
Like,
seen
I don't know that
You should
early.
I
watch
haven't seen it
Fame.
yet, but
Well,
I've
I
seen,
mean,
like, small clips.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Is Fame rated R? Or is it rated PG?
Nah, I mean, it was like,
The rating back then didn't really.
yeah, like back then it wasn't that
Yeah.
kind of rating.
Because I know you've seen Fame.
Yeah.
Yeah, when it
Right.
be considered R now.
Now it'll probably be PG-13 now.
Wow.
That's how
How
far we
times
go.
have changed.
Yes.
I want to ask, with you becoming a dancer and getting into it, like, what are some of the experiences that you've had, good, bad, ugly, like just dealing with the industry? What are some of the things that
Oh, you just
dealt
gonna
with?
jump right in? You're not gonna let her warm up or anything? You
No, I
gonna
mean,
just go?
I want to know, like, because, you know, like, she says she's been doing it for 13 years, so this is not her first rodeo.
No.
Right.
No. Okay. Well, I was saying when I was younger, it's a little different than when I was older. So I was saying the last 5 years, stuff has changed a lot with the dance industry, and that's when I got exposed to more things. And I would say it's been a rocky road because that's when I started competition. I've been doing competitions like since I was 10 or so, and I say since I was like 13, that's when I was like in a senior level, and that's like when competition gets harder. But because of that, it's like I'm not able to express myself with dance. I can't wear my hair in afros. I can't.
Wow.
No, we can't.
Ain't that crazy?
We're like, wait, what?
That doesn't make sense to me, but why?
She'll share. It's based on her studio.
Yeah, on my
Oh,
experience.
Gotcha.
Okay,
No,
yeah,
it's not
continue.
so.
I'm sorry, but like,
Disclaimer.
that shocked me.
Disclaimer. Yeah.
Okay.
It
With the
depends.
studio,
It depends where you go. Because like the studios I've been to, like they want their hair to be a certain way, which I understand that, but I can't have my natural hair. They want my hair to be straight, and my hair is not straight. My hair is
Good.
messy,
We see the
so.
flow. We see the
Right.
flow.
You see it?
Yes.
Yeah,
It's
that's
still beautiful though. That's
that
not,
natural?
No, that's
Yes.
not fair. I don't
You got
like that.
Indian in your family. Indian in your family.
So much
That's
of this.
not my hair at all, and they expect me to be a certain way, which I'm not. They downgrade my culture and they downgrade me, and I can't have my waist beads. They don't
Wow.
like that. Like the last year I was at, it was a huge deal. It was a big deal.
Really?
Waist beads, yes. So,
And this is all across, like, this is like all schools, or was this?
No, it depends where you go. Like I said, like
Okay.
if you're a majority black, the institute is obviously different. But my experiences, which is majority white, it was different. For me.
Okay. Okay.
So some
Wow.
of like some of these studios, they may have been predominantly white, had certain protocols that was like you can or can't dance here because of these.
Yeah, cause like always like the only black girl everywhere.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
so
Wow.
wow. So when you say natural hair, so flipping it to the other side, since it's predominantly white, do they wear their hair naturally, or were they required to straighten their hair out as well? Like, was there ever curly-haired white people at
Like
your
Jewish
studio?
white people, I guess. Well, they're Jewish, but still, it's still kind of froey.
Okay.
Wow.
You're not wrong.
To all the Jewish people, we would like to apologize for that statement.
It is a legitimate question that you're asking because everyone has different hair textures.
Right.
Exactly.
We're not a
Right.
monolithic type of folk.
Right.
All around.
But
so.
did they do that to the other students? Like if their hair may have been kind of
Curlier or wavier, or you know.
No, not really.
Oh, okay.
So you were kind of
So
singled out.
literally,
Yes.
Wow.
literally, it was just
Yes.
we don't want your fro.
Yes, and I couldn't wear my braids. My braids were a big deal, which I don't know why. I could still do the hairstyles. I was surprised, like a bun, I could still do it, but that was a big deal. I couldn't wear my braids. I couldn't do it like a lot of stuff.
Wow.
And like for like the fake ponytails, like you know when you slick your hair down, it still gets to be wavy. They want it to be like, completely slick, and my hair doesn't do that.
Right.
Not
That would be
gonna
a
read.
problem.
That's not how her.
Yeah.
That's
So
not
they're
how
gonna
her
read
hair
the bar
grows.
that she
And,
has in the back.
and I guess I would say my question is like, what does this have to do with your performance? You
Nothing,
know? Right?
absolutely nothing. And I don't know why that affected
You know
the way
why.
I danced on stage,
Right.
or how I danced, period. But that they made it seem like we just had all the same thing.
Right.
So like, if I like let's say for example, like a competition went to a couple months ago, my ponytail was an inch too long or something like that, and that was a huge deal to them. Like I couldn't like go on stage and like wear my ponytail that long, which in my opinion, I feel like that does not affect the way I dance.
Right.
Right.
So like they stopped you from actually competing or performing because
Yes,
of.
so I had to like.
because of the length
No.
of your ponytail.
So I have
No.
to like
Not
straighten my
meeting.
ponytail and do all this extra stuff, which I feel like that was unnecessary time wasted for me practicing my dance or something.
And I feel like this is important to know because it's just these little things in society
Well,
that
that's
we
what
don't pay attention
They say
to.
they're little things.
Right.
But these are not little
No,
things.
they're not. That's what I'm
you know?
saying.
Yeah.
These little things that people don't recognize are happening or don't think are a big deal is a big deal. Because what we're saying is that you have to look a certain way. or be a certain color, or your hair has to be a certain way in order to fulfill your dreams.
They're asking you to assimilate.
Right,
Yes.
right. And not every, and of course we know in the world, not everybody looks alike. Okay, so, but I thank you for, you know, bringing that up, because we need to make that aware that this is what's going on with our children out here in society, that they can't fulfill their dreams of entertainment or performance, or let's just not even say just entertainment or performance. Let's just say their dreams in general, because this is just something that could happen in sports. This could be something that happened in writing or, you know, corporate world, that we have to change ourselves and become something different to please them when it has nothing to do with that.
With the actual art or the talent.
Right, right.
Because if she's out there and she's dancing beautifully and you're doing everything that was asked of you as an entertainer, what does it matter what my hair looks like? So I totally understand that. So can I ask you, how exactly did you deal with that kind of frustration of things like that? How did you deal with that?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have to think
Thank you,
about
Maury.
it because
Appreciate it, Maury.
Glad you asked.
I love it. I'm just messing.
there are
So to
obviously
Oni, yeah.
times where I was sad about it because that's who I am. That's my hair. So it was a lot to deal with. Like, I couldn't be myself. I felt like I had to be somebody else. Like, I was just faking myself. Like, it just wasn't me. And speaking about that with dance, like, our skin color, I'm brown, but like for majority point shoes and ballet shoes, tights, it's never my skin color. It's always like their skin color or like suntan, which I'm not suntan. So that doesn't even match me. So that would be a huge thing. I have to always go out of my way to buy my own tights, buy my own shoes, dye my own everything. And I feel like we should, like brown girls, black girls, even if it's brown, they should also have our skin color available in stores, which is never available, like anywhere you go.
The
It's
nude
really
and the
hard.
natural. So when they say nude, when they say natural, because I was like, from the modeling aspect, we deal with this all the time. You have to have nude undergarments, you have to have nude hosiery, and nude isn't a color that matches literally anyone's skin tone. So I've never understood why it existed. They might as well make an invisible, like a saran wrap version of that, so it can actually be your color, but it doesn't exist. And then for a dance standpoint, what are your options? Because at least for me, I could find brown, I could find hosiery. Did you find it difficult to find?
Yes. Like, I never found my skin color. It's always dye it myself.
Wow. You had to make it.
Oh wow, so you went as far as to actually dye the hosiery
Yes.
yourself to match
I had
your
to
own
dye
tone.
my actual.
No, see, that's
had to make it.
ridiculous.
Yeah,
that
to
needs
make
to
it.
change. I'm sorry, that is ridiculous in this country
better
that
say
she
it.
can't find something to match her skin tone. That is not right. It is not fair, and I don't like it.
It's changing. It's
Yeah, well, I know there are some companies like, yeah, it's changing slowly.
I was gonna say, what's the effect? Yeah.
You know, one pair of tights, and she was it's $10. They tell them to get fishnet, their skin is $10. But for every pair I bought for her, I bought this company's $42.
Wow.
And one pair may only last, depending on how excited
show,
you
honey.
A show,
A
yeah.
show.
One show.
Yeah. So for those of you who can't hear,
So the investment from the parent standpoint is 3x, 4x.
yeah, so for those of you who couldn't hear, that's Oni's mom, who's just kind of interjecting from a financial standpoint, the impacts of being a black or brown dancer when you have to buy something that's nude to match your skin tone and it either doesn't exist or you have to pay somebody to make it exist for you. So you have to pay to get it dyed. You have to pay to get it fixed. And then any woman knows, hosiery, if you lucky, lasts all day.
Right.
And that's just walking and sitting.
Right.
We're talking about actually dancing and moving. Yeah, the rest of us, we just walking and we might sit down and catch a snag. You might get out the car and get a run. You know, if her ponytail was already too long, what's gonna happen if you snag your fishnets right during a performance or right before you go on stage? And we're talking about $10 for nude and $42 to make it custom made just to match your skin tone. T, you were interjecting on some of the changes that you were seeing as well in the industry to help kind of balance that.
Well, it's unfortunate that these are stories that are reminiscent to when I was a girl growing up in competition studios. You know, at this point in my life, I can, you know, flip it off and separate myself from that, because I am now in a position of owning and really being firmly in my body, where I don't have to adhere to anyone else's their policies. I make up my own. I'm also in a position where I know my agency, and I'm able to teach my students, especially the students who look like me, understanding what micro and macroaggressions are so they can identify it. And then even further before that, understanding their value, understanding how to create that formula to understand your value economically and just spiritually, emotionally, where they can go into any studio, any dance company, any institution, and be comfortable of making others uncomfortable.
So I'm hearing two questions from that. The first one is kind of like how, and I was like, and I'll say this for Oni, paraphrasing, I feel. How do you feel like you're able to really find your voice in a space where you feel so muted?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, I recently just left the dance studio I was at because of issues with that. It was obviously more things than just that, but I feel like I was the outcast. And I'm tired of being outcast. I want to be my own self. I want to be me. And it was a lot. And I want to be able to express myself without feeling bad about anything.
Yeah. And that's similar to what you were saying,
Yeah.
too. Like you're saying, like now you're in a space where you were where Oni is, and now you own your own space.
Yeah.
So you feel like you're in complete control of that.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like we see two completely different generations right now, and she's literally telling me that you had to deal with the same feelings that you're dealing with
literally
right
telling
now.
you that 20
4 years ago. I get it, darling. I get it, yes.
Yeah, he will not disrespect my 40 more summers I got on this earth.
But I mean, that's got to be a lot to take in right now, hearing that still right now, young ladies that are brown coming up now in the same field that you have built an empire around yourself, they're going through the same emotions that you had to go through. Like, that's got to be a lot to just
take in.
Yeah, definitely. And it's
a hard pill to swallow. You know, and for me, I can only do so much. So what I have done, first of all, hey y'all, I'm T. Lang.
T. Lang, okay, yes.
I'm an associate professor at Spelman College. I'm the founding chair of their dance performance and choreography department. Thank you.
Yes,
I am
definitely.
the artistic director of T. Lang Dance Company and the owner of this space that we're in the West End called the Movement Lab ATL. It's an incubation space.
It's a beautiful space, guys.
Fantastic space. Yes.
Thank you.
And they don't just
I
dance
don't think
here.
you care about people's hair either.
No. I finally am in a position that I manifested where I own space, and with the ownership, there's a responsibility to make and carve space for others, especially Black women and their allies who act right. And create a space where we can incubate our creative ideas. This is the home of T. Lang Dance that we're in. But when I'm not in here with my collaborators and whipping something up, I want other creative entrepreneurs of all types of disciplines and focuses to come in and experiment with their ideas. That is something where in dance studios that we have not been able space to practice agency of our voice, of ourselves. We have to hit the 5, 6, 7, 8. Being told to experiment or improv is deer in headlights, because now you're giving the young dancer the room to imagine and be free thinking and make choices on their own as opposed to hitting the count anime.
Right.
So here now, decades later, remembering the trauma that I had to, chin up and be 10 times as good
Show
just
those
to get
pearly
5
whites.
times
Right.
as,
Yeah, I know what you mean.
now I can ease back and really create space to empower and encourage and enhance and get it together, but to remind folks of their own value. Mine value, but your value.
May I ask, where do you originate from? Are you from Georgia? Or?
No, so I'm from Harlem, New York by way of
She from Harlem? That's what
Wait, before I take
She
over.
said by way of. There was a by way of in there.
By way of suburbs of Chicago, Sherwood,
Chi-town,
Illinois.
South Side.
Okay, okay.
Chi-town, yes.
That Midwest, yes, Midwest love.
So I grew up in, and my family were a part of the Great Migration from Kosciuszko, Mississippi, up to the north, up to the
Wow.
Midwest. So I come from Sherwood, Illinois, but my family is from Bay Springs and Kosciuszko, Mississippi. So I had multiple worlds of the South and Midwest to the to the East Coast, now back
A lot of
to
different
Atlanta.
culture.
Yeah.
Right, and making some decisions even as a young girl, dancing, do I want to go to New York, do I want to go to LA, and going to those places to feel how I
dance
could,
was.
well, yeah, and how I could dominate.
Okay.
Or be
See how she
accepted.
said that? Did
She
you see how
just eased it in. She was
Yes.
like, how I can dominate.
Make
It
you
was
feel
so
better
easy.
about walking away from
Yes.
things. Like,
But,
yes.
but it's perspective.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
all perspective and perception of who you are and how you want to give in those spaces.
And how much you'll tolerate.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's your number? What's your
What's your number?
Yeah, what's
Yeah.
your number?
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. Right.
And then what is that thick line of boundary that makes sure that you don't cross or have others cross over.
So love that you
Knowing
say
that.
that, because I think a lot of times people don't. Everyone always says, well, anyone will do anything for money. And I was like, we always tell people to be careful to say, I'll do anything to become successful in this space.
Right.
Because having been in New York and dancing in LA and then coming to the South, all these different avenues, I'm sure you know people along the way who have done anything to be successful in those spaces, or have maybe crossed some of those, what you would think those moral lines or whatever their non-negotiables are.
Sure, and even
Yeah.
and even the idea I'm sure we've all heard this as emerging young artists. The pay is exposure,
Right.
Yes.
right? And
Play.
that is the
So tired of
that,
hearing
that,
that.
is that's the gotcha. That's the okie doke.
Don't get me started, T-Lane. Don't you get me started.
I had to advise a young emerging artist. She's a Spelman alum. We taught her very well that she knows her value and her worth. I had to advise her on a rotten offer that she received from a quote-unquote prestigious institution, and especially in this time where we're seeing this economic unraveling in our society. We're seeing these inequities that are happening across all disciplines, especially in the arts. We're seeing all of that, and we're calling it out for making change for an institution to try to give a rotten lowball offer for this black artist to do 3 jobs only being paid for 1.
Wow.
It's very pathetic. But luckily, she has mentors who have been down that road several times and been able to now carve out new paths and lanes to guide and advise that dancer, that artist, that you can choose to take that contract and manipulate it,
Right.
or counter.
I got a question. And no, because this
He's over here
bounces.
raising his hand in the corner.
Yeah.
We're like,
Woman,
Ashley,
she,
I'm in
this
the-
is
I'm
a
in-
great interview.
Yeah, I'm in the cut, so I'm just listening. But I have good friends and who are former Alvinelli dancers. When I was in college, I went to school in Midtown Manhattan, New York Conservatory of Dramatic Arts. And like I said, my good friends were Alvinelli dancers at Fordham University. And this was the first time in my life I actually saw modern dancing, black modern dancing. I didn't know anything about it, you know what I mean? Where I come from, it's, the white schools or, German or, Asian. So it's like, for me to be able to see something that wasn't hip hop, you know what I'm saying? Something was praise dancing. It was a different form of expression, right? That was new for me. So my question to you is it's okay. We understand.
you're loved.
No. But my question to you is for the young, inspiring dancers out there who say, I have to go to school and be part of these international, foreign dance companies to be able to go out and be part of a group, right? But they don't know how to go about it. Can you tell us what are some avenues or some ways that a young person coming out of, let's say, high school and want to make that step to be a modern dancer that ain't looking to be a hip hop dancer, that's not looking to be a strip dancer, not looking to actually
I'd say
be
come
this.
sign up at T-Lane.
Yeah, but I guess what I'm saying is
That too.
what? Because like with hip hop dancing, right? I used to live out in LA, right? And I have a lot of friends who dance for, artists, right? And the one thing I saw is you go to a dance company or a dance studio. You learn, you get lessons. You go to the clubs and do the whole dance groups, and you find a dance group to be a part of, right? Mm-hmm. So now you're going to these clubs and they're having these performances where you can win money. So now you got dance companies buying and winning money. So that's the way I can make some extra ends. Then you go and audition for music videos to be in. So
dance.
we know the steps of a hip hop dancer or
we're saying any dance, like for I guess what you're saying for like young artists
for
like her,
for
anyone.
artistry, for modern dancing. What are what is the steps?
Right. What are
And
ways to get around some of those obstacles?
And what does the successful jobs look like? In other words.
Yes.
Okay.
What do the successful jobs look like?
Right.
Okay.
That was good.
Does that make sense? You know what I'm
Real
saying?
good.
Okay, let me see how I can answer it
Okay.
and guide me if I'm missing a question.
Okay.
So, first off, in addition to going to the club, because that's another idea of taking class.
Okay.
Because you got to know that culture.
Gotcha.
And that's also giving you chops. Okay. In addition to doing talent shows, because again, that is about your practice.
Right.
Learning how to perform and receive the yay or the nay. Okay.
Right.
If you're thinking about, okay, I want to expand, I want to do it all. Okay, well, you have your phone. You don't have to do the Dewey Decimal System like we had to. Now you can Google.
Yeah.
What are those key word phrases? Modern dance auditions 2020 in Chicago. Type in generic words and start figuring out who's throwing auditions. Or contemporary modern dance companies in the United States. Or no.
Not
No.
No,
Just in
no,
general, but
contemporary.
then you're
No.
gonna run into problems that she had. You go into someone telling you.
No, because I'm flipping the gaze. Okay, again.
I get what she's
I'm the
saying. I
prize.
get it.
We're the prize. I'm allowing you to
'Cause
have
you're
my
the
voice.
artist.
Gotcha.
Right?
That's right.
Not,
You're-
I want
you're the
the
artist.
job. Oh, can I make it? Am I gonna make it? Of course not. Anyway, okay.
Proud
So, you do the research. You go down that rabbit hole of seeing how many dance companies are out there, and then seeing how many dance companies that the movement vocabulary, the aesthetic, the mission matches your heart, your soul that you wanna contribute, you wanna offer your services to.
Okay.
You go out and audition, or they don't have auditions, but they might have classes, or they might be teaching at festivals, and then you go, and you continue that process until you are satisfied with that plan, until you get to the next phase, to the next plan. So you can work anywhere in the world, doing your research, being consistent and persistent.
Consistent and persistent.
Yes.
That is
Absolutely.
real. That's
Yeah.
very real.
And understanding that it's a business. Okay, we're not going to be able to change.
And that's why I asked the question.
Yeah.
I just want
Because
that's what we talked about.
So,
Go ahead.
So,
Perfect.
whatever ballet company just finally wants accolades because they have a principal black ballerina in their company.
We're talking about Miss.
Okay. Well,
No, wait a minute. I'm sorry. Like, but
There's
some of those.
others.
Because it's just like, there's like,
Let's just stay in the generic lane.
Right,
Let's
okay,
just stay
okay.
generic because again, there's only this perceived idea that there can only be two of us in each generation to
Right.
break the glass.
to excel to that
Right, to
level.
excel.
That's not fair.
But
Well,
it's
again,
a misperception.
it's a
Speaking of that, people only think of dance, they don't think of Missy Copeland. Like there's so many other people than just her. Like there's so many different
And there
dancers.
is a problem that we don't know about others because
Yep.
we also have to think about the art critics that ignore different shows and leave us out, erase our work, don't put us in history. We have to think about the funding, the lack of funding supporting these young, brilliant, or not so young, but brilliant black and brown artists. You know, we have so many different factors why the general public could only know, you know, the two of each generation.
Now, I do have a question for both of you. So, I'm a comedian, model, actor / engineer, blah blah blah. Does it all?
Singer, songwriter,
does it all?
Philanthropist. I do a lot.
Okay, so in dance, would you say the industry in dance is just as cutthroat across the board as the rest of the industry?
Yes. I think they're all the same.
It's coming from you.
Yeah. You said it's cutthroat.
Because she answered fast.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Because they want you to be a certain way. It's like a certain skill in modeling. It's have to be a certain like body
Industry
certain,
standards.
Yes. That's why everything is like that.
So that's industry across the board.
Yes. I feel like it's awesome.
Well, what you guys told us is a lot of stuff of what they don't tell you.
Right. And that's what it's all about.
It is.
And the reason why I'm glad you went further into that is because a lot of things we talk about in our past recordings is that this is a business, right? And me and Keisha, we teach this to our students. If you go in like an employer looking for work, you're gonna deal with setbacks. You're gonna deal with,
Becoming an employee?
right? You're gonna deal with the whole concept of selling your soul in the industry because you'll do whatever it takes to make it. But if you see yourself as a business, you're not gonna do anything that's going to jeopardize your business. You're not gonna do anything that's going to deteriorate your business. Sway you to right. Because as long as you have, you know, your business and you're business minded, you'll always, you know, pursue it that way. And that's why I say I wanted you to answer that because I want you to understand it's all across the board, whether you're a dancer, an actor, singer.
Well, that's why I guess what we're trying to do is we do want to get everyone's aspect about the industry. Because I know what I've learned as a comedian that you would think it's all ha ha and fun. It's not. They don't like in the industry. They honestly don't give a shit about money. They don't care. They just want to see what you can make, what you can do for them. And as a young lady coming up in the day, I hope that you know because she obviously has a space that you can be yourself and you can express yourself through dance. Because I know there's been times I can't express myself as a comedian. I'm walking in the clubs, they've already paid me. I'm like, this, or this. You know, and it's like, it's hard.
But what they also don't tell you is that when you decide to be an independent artist, independent freelance artist, I know what you can do. It's hard.
Wow.
It is extremely hard.
Yes.
It is so hard, and not everyone can be Master P. You know, but
It takes a certain type of person,
persistence, getting your team right, understanding your circle, having your mentors, having your advocates who may not be your friends, but you know they respect your work ethic.
Surrounding yourself with the right people.
Surrounding yourself always with the right people.
Now before we go,
sorry. So speaking of that, so I was like, I know Oni, you have to go. So I just wanted to, before you head out, I wanted you to be able to speak to some of your upcoming projects.
I was just about to say that. That's what I'm saying.
What's school you going to? What's school you going to?
Also,
AUC love. AUC.
Well, I have two things I want to talk about before I go. First, I want to talk about when people think of black people in dance, we all automatically think about like hip hop or majorette, and we're all not like those. We're also ballet dancers, tap dancers, circle dancers, like everything. And I just feel like they should automatically like put that like acceptable to us. That we want to be a certain way. But yeah, so.
Thank you.
for real. Thank you.
Yeah, you guys can follow me on Instagram at Oni Collier _.
Say that louder. Say it louder. Clear. What is it? Instagram. Follow her on Instagram.
At
Oni
Collier _ ONICOLLIER _. Yeah.
Okay.
What's wrong?
I just got into a fight with my mom.
Oh.
She kicked me out.
Why? Well, you want to stay here?
Well, not if you don't want me to.
No, I want you to stay.
Then why didn't you ask me before?
Because I'm asking you now. I love you.
You don't even know me. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it like that. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I want to know you. I'm dirty.
I am T. Lang, Artistic Director of T. Lang Dance and the founder of the Movement Lab Atlanta, an incubator for creative entrepreneurs. I am a choreographer, a storyteller, and a translator of truth. Independently, my choreographic works ignite fire. When I work as a team player on a collaboration, our work becomes explosive. To learn more about T. Lang Dance, visit tlangdance.com.
Okay, Miss T. Lang is the owner of the Movement Lab Atlanta, or ATO, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
She is a dancer, choreographer. She is an associate professor for the founding chair of the Dance, Performance, and Choreography Department at Spelman College.
Yes.
Right.
Nothing but accomplishments.
And she's the artist director of T. Lang Dance that we're here now in this beautiful facility.
And these
Guys,
plants are real. These are real plants.
These are real plants.
These are real plants.
Real plants. You can't. That's how you know
You can't find that everywhere.
No, you can't.
You can't find that everywhere. The
These ain't big lots, y'all. These ain't big lots trees. These is real trees.
And we'll make sure that we take you on a tour of the studio a little bit later. Yeah, so that everyone can kind of see and feel the space. Like when you walk in, there's sage, so you can feel the zen.
Oh, what?
A dope energy.
Yes,
Very
yes,
dope energy.
yes.
I'm not gonna lie. I was running late. I was stressing. When I came in here and smelled that, I was like, ooh, namaste.
And then, like, yeah, I was stressed too when we showed up because we were, feeling sleep. But when I walked in, like the energy was just, it was very calm and very welcoming. So like, I do enjoy that you're doing that for people that walk in here. You're making sure that when someone comes in, they feel that welcomeness. They feel that just chilling.
Yeah.
Be you. So that's dope.
And I want people to understand too is we actually met Miss Lang. We were doing that.
T. Lang.
I was raised by my mom. Sorry.
Right.
We met T. Lang. We were doing a film project, and we needed a location to do a rehearsals. And T. Lang, she actually allowed us to use her space to rent out. So it's not just somewhere for dance, like. Right, Ms. T. Lang?
That's right. It's definitely created for us by us. And it's a space that it houses my dance company, but when I'm not using my space, I want other creative entrepreneurs, Black women especially, and our allies to have clean, cool, safe, inspiring space.
Yes.
So we welcome all types of disciplines who are experimenting and tinkering around with their visions.
That's it.
It's a collective, right? To be able to come in a community. So actually, what I want to talk about is two things. So first of all, I have to plug for the Atlanta University Center, the consortium out here, because obviously with you being an associate professor at the Spelman College.
Get it right.
I truly believe in the power of HBCUs and having a community. And the lady who was on earlier was talking about having that sense of community. Her mother is actually a Spelman alumni as well. So what got you to determine that was the school that you wanted to lend your skill set to? How you develop that program?
My parents went to Jackson State.
Okay, Mississippi,
Yes.
Jackson State.
And growing up, we went to many homecomings, and they came through a time in the 60s. So they were adamant that I and my elder sister would go to an HBCU.
Okay.
And I understand why. There were some things that you couldn't learn at HBCU that you could at a PWI, like microaggression, and how to navigate white folk in the business world. But after attending University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign, and then going out to New York and dancing, and later getting my master's at NYU, I was surrounded in a field, in a world, a discipline of whiteness, and that was limited for me to really express my blackness, and let alone be nurtured and guided to really understand fully who I am in this body as a black dancer and dance maker. But I found incredible mentors and advocates like choreographer Marlis Yogi and Diane McIntyre, and even in Mia Love, who really, and my dear professor at the PWI, Dr. John Rapiner. These folks, they gave me the keys. They gave me the keys, and I knew when I wanted to teach, and I wasn't thinking about teaching right now. I was thinking like, oh, when I'm in my 50s, I'll go to the university and start doing my thing. But, plans. But I got the call from Spelman College to be a guest artist. And unbeknownst to me, they were looking for a professor for their, at the time, dance program. So when I came, I was doing a lot of residencies and teaching all over, but there was nothing like teaching young black women who look like you, but come from multiple, vastly different backgrounds, but still, still kinfolk. It was nothing like
skinfolk and
it was nothing like teaching everything I knew at that time, and still developing and wanting to share and prepare them to be better than me.
Wow.
And
for that to not be a threat.
And not to be a threat.
Right. And not even for them to worry about, and I'm just assuming, right, the competition aspect. So as a female, as a black female, teaching black women, making sure that it's to do that, again, in a community space to uplift one another. Right. So I love that you said, just to be better than me. Like if you exceed, then we all exceed.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, I even noticed that my teaching styles were completely different from one institution to a agency at Spelman, just because there's a language that or a dialect or a tone or inflection. I don't have to explain a certain laughter that is not condescending or scary. It is it's another way to translate that only kinfolk can identify with. So for me, teaching at HBCU, teaching my trade secrets is my preference, and I'm thankful. I can teach anywhere in the world. I know that. Have wonderful offers, wonderful salaries. But for my legacy, I think it's very important that I continue sharing that to others who have been either limited in their other spaces, their PWI spaces, and really make a space for our black dancers.
Welcome back, guys, to What They Don't Tell You podcast. Now it's time for the hot topic. The industry post-COVID-19. That's what we're talking about today. The industry post-COVID-19.
All right.
Now, there's no need no explanation for this, y'all. We pretty much understand what that means. Like, where do we see everything going now after this quarantine? I mean, because they've taken away a lot of the, things we do. Like we said, the movie theaters earlier, right? Yeah. Productions are shut down.
The union is done.
Union, you know what I'm saying?
They're not done, but they're not working.
social media is popping. Everybody's doing social media now. We got podcasts left and right.
That's
you know what I'm saying?
So when you say podcast, like, whose podcast are you talking about? Because obviously we have the What They Don't Tell You.
Oh, of course.
But
T.I.'s got a podcast.
Yeah, I mean, everybody.
David Banner's got a podcast.
Mike Tyson.
Tyson got a podcast?
Joe Budden's got a podcast. I mean, everybody's got a podcast.
Everybody's got a podcast. A lot of people. And there's more than that. Trust me, it's like a lot of artists are really doing the whole podcasting. But, you know, hearsay or whether it's a special guest podcast or if it's a panel podcast, the fact is now we're seeing a change in entertainment.
Yeah.
To where it's getting to a point where the cable box is just you catch some TV series, but now these days you can even do that on the stick, Netflix.
True.
You can
I don't even have cable. I don't even have cable anymore. Like I was like Hulu, Netflix. If I can stream it, I can see it. But that's it.
Well, I think that's what's killing, one for cable, like Xfinity and AT&T. I mean, it's much harder for them now because you can get everything. As long as you have internet, you can get whatever you want.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I've tried. There's not a way around their internet, so.
And you'd be surprised. A lot of people are getting their cable taken out. Like,
yeah.
Cause you just think about it. Can you even get internet? Just plain internet in your house without
just
phones?
Internet. That's what I'm saying. That's me. I have just internet.
It's just what they do is they hit you with a fat ass deal, and they're like, look, instead of just getting internet and paying $39, if you go ahead and get the phone and cable, we'll do it for $49. You're like, all right, fuck it, I'll do it $10 more, and that's how they lock you in for that extra $10 so that cable stays relevant.
That's crazy.
Even though it's becoming irrelevant.
Right.
Yeah.
It's literally, as long as I have the internet, I can get anything. You know what I'm saying? But you have to get, it used to be you couldn't get cable without having to get a phone. Now you can't get Wi-Fi without getting cable.
How do y'all feel about all these celebrities turning to podcasting now to, like, I guess, express what their art is or where they are in life? Are y'all okay with it?
Well, I'm kind of curious, like, is it really like relevant? Like, does it have a format, or is it just, look, I ain't got nothing to do, so I'm just gonna talk to y'all out here, so I'm still touching base to my fans.
It's a little bit of both.
T.I.'s podcast is pretty good.
His has a format? Is it actually like a formatted podcast?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it is. So
well, his is like, okay, here it is. T.I.'s is like interviews. Like, it's one-on-one interviews.
He does a lot of interviews on here.
I was like, and Will Smith does something similar like that, right?
Will Smith is more of like a blog podcast.
Yeah.
Like, he's literally doing things and just interacting with people.
What about Red Table with Jada Pinkett? Is that a podcast?
That's not a podcast. That's a show.
That's an actual show on Facebook.
Show. On Facebook.
Yeah, it's a Facebook show. Now, Red Table Topics, Red Table.
But that's a good show.
Red Table is really good. Yeah,
that is a good
they
show.
do bring on guests, but then sometimes they just talk as a family. So I think I like that it's generational.
Yeah,
they got Willow, they got Jada's mom.
Yeah.
So that's so that's something that's formatted.
Right.
Whereas to Keith's point, you have now celebrities, people within the entertainment industry, comedians. Like, people are just kind of starting these podcasts, and I'm just curious, like, is it like legit, like, I just want to see how many people will follow me when I'm live, or is this like a legit, like, heartfelt endeavor? Like, I don't know, what y'all think?
I mean, none of them are working if you think about it.
Yeah.
I mean, they may be working in ways, but they're not working like they were.
No.
So
and
it's
two, it's like you said, part of it is I have nothing to do. A lot of it is I have to stay relevant. I gotta keep my face out there because now I ain't got nothing going on. I don't have nothing coming out. I gotta keep relevant. And then some are just people doing things to help make things better in the quarantine. I want to show my face. I want to interact with other people in the industry to get others, or in other words, I want to get celebrities on, so that everybody out there can find something to be excited about in this time of chaos.
Well, the thing that I worry about is if they're all just doing this because of what's going on right now, what happens when we do get back to the norm and they are working again and they are, they don't have time for Instagram? Because you have to remember, like, there was a point when you thought you may have been talking to a celebrity and you were talking to, like, one of their assistants or somebody that was just like, we handle your social media. To like, now you are literally talking directly to the celebrity because they're just stuck in the house.
And see, that was I'm glad that you said that, because I was just sitting here thinking, like, do you feel like there are certain industries where those artists are more likely to be doing this? So like the people that you named are all essentially musicians.
Yes.
right? So do you feel like maybe it's more musicians who are having the need to do this? Like Mike Tyson is an athlete, which makes sense. So
Right.
we go sports, we go music. Those are people that you're seeing do stuff.
Right.
You know, you're not seeing
You got a
necessarily.
lot of rappers doing it too.
Yeah, that's still music.
You got comedians, you got dancers, you got
Have there been that?
hangers.
Not
D.L. Hughley has
because
a podcast.
they're just not huge. They're not well known mainstreams, but you do
Shit,
have
D.L. Hughley's podcast.
No, yeah, I'm just saying.
That's a show, isn't it? That's a
I don't
show.
know.
It's on
This
TV
is a
One.
Well, it's like a.
But I know it's a
yeah.
podcast. 'cause
Yeah, it's a
you can listen
podcast
to
too.
it on,
Right.
like,
But he had his own radio station. Like he had an actual
Yeah,
radio
yeah.
show.
True.
You know what
Yeah,
I'm
he did
saying?
on
So
Sirius
it's-
Radio.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But no, but I'm saying
You
even
said
in small
dancers, too.
circuits of like podcasting, like you can go on these apps and websites and listen. People have podcasts of their own. It's just not to a level of say the ones we're describing.
But that's what we're talking about, and I'm talking about, is it specific industry artistry? So
Right.
we've said
Yes.
musicians, and we've seen some athletes, and the occasional like actor or actress from film. Do you guys feel like maybe you're not going to see? You mentioned dancers, but I can't think of anybody that I could say, oh, this dancer is going to be on live. Everybody's going to want to see them, or this dancer is doing something.
Make a lot of noise for your first comic. Make a lot of noise for Keith Vance.
Laughing Skull, what's happening? Ah, shit, they done put me first. I'm about to crank this motherfucker. Now, let me tell you a couple things about myself, y'all. I'm goddamn addicted to white women. I'm addicted. And not because of the shoes, not because of the video games and shit. I like to call it cocaine coochie. Because some of y'all scared out there. Y'all scared to put your face in that motherfucker. I'm in that bitch like, damn, bitch. Let me get another line, bitch. But there's a lot of coochie out there now. There's a lot of coochie out there. You got Confederate coochie. I'm gonna come back to that. You know what I'm saying? You got goddamn crabby coochie. Stay away from it, fellas. That shit'll be grabbing you and you ain't on it no more. You dig what I'm saying? You got all types of coochie out there. And the best coochie, this is the woman's favorite, is consensual coochie. Now that's the coochie that matter, fellas, okay? Because if it ain't consensual, you seen what they did to Bill Cosby old ass. That nigga was in the courtroom blind as shit. And what I realized dealing with myself, you guys, is that there are two things I love in this world more than anything. It's an accent on a pretty woman. Two accents, y'all. I love me a Southern belle. Any Southern girls in here? You didn't want to say nothing, sweetheart. You didn't want to say nothing. See, my girlfriend, she's a Southern belle. She's from like Cartersville. Y'all know where that's at? Cartersville, them goddamn country bumpkin motherfuckers out there. But see, like, the thing that I do to her all the time, I'll tell her, I say, baby, say that thing you said to me again. I say, the pies are cooling in the windowsill. And she'll be like, you're not supposed to be in here. I love it. Get my dick hard. I'll be like, yes, bitch. I love that shit. Say it again. You're so dark. Oh, Lord. You're so dark. I'm like, bitch, I'm light-skinned in this motherfucker.
And we are the B Squad. That's